So 2 cups of almonds inside the Ninja blender. Just to add a little bit of flavor to it, I'm going to do a 1/4 cup of the salted ones. Everyone always throws a little bit of salt in there anyway, so it's a little bit of half a cup, not a 1/4 cup. Hopefully, nothing will go horribly wrong. Everyone says to put just dry, plain almonds in there, so that's what I'm doing. Nothing special, nothing extra added, not washing. This is not hot at all. I felt all over the place. There's no heat. There's no heat from the transformer, so Ninja is holding up pretty well. Right, so I let it run 3 minutes instead of 2. Looked like he was getting some pretty good results. Okay, so machine is slightly warm, not very warm. Underneath it's a little warm. So 3 minutes seems to be the maximum that I want to let this thing run by itself like that. Brush off the sides. Let it run for 3 minutes. And on blend. That's blend right there. Blend. Okay, so again, timer is done. So it's 3 minutes. Alright, so I'm going to let this thing cool for 3 minutes because this is warm. So right now, all of this area here where the actual almond stuff is warm. The machine itself, here it's a little warm, back here it's a little warm, not hot, but not terribly hot. Underneath, it's a little bit warmer than on the sides. So I'm just going to let it cool down a little bit. It's not hot. It's kind of like you know, your dog's temperature or something like that. I mean, it's more than room temperature. Okay. Alright, it's rested for 3 minutes, and we are going to start up again, and we're going to put the timer on again for 3 minutes. Alright, so hitting blend again. That was another 3 minutes on the timer. And again, I'm going to let it rest for 3 minutes just to cool down. It's getting a bit warmer. I wish I had a little temperature gauge that I could rate this thing to tell you how hot it's getting. It's not too hot to touch. This area here, the heat is about the same as if I had this mug filled with hot water and I was holding the outside of the mug. So I could hold it, but you know, and if it was cold out, I'd be like, oh yeah, it's keeping my hands warm. But it's not too hot to touch. It's not like, ouch, right? So it is getting warm. So I'm gonna let it rest for 3 minutes. Okay, so you can see how I'm cooling this thing off. I'm letting it air out as much as possible. The bottom is warm. It's not crazy hot, but it's a lot cooler than what it was. So it's my first week with this machine, so I don't want to kill it in the first week and then not have it work anymore. So of course the power is turned off back here, my transformer. You can see I have a big 220 to 110 volt transformer. Alright, so that thing's a little cooler. This is looking really good. You can see that. It's looking delicious. It's still a little flaky because of what's on the edges, but that's what I'm going to fix now. Make it much more creamy. So here we go again. Once again, I'm thinking 3 minutes should be the final call on this. Let's try that. Let's try 3 more minutes. Alright, so power on this, click. Power on this, click. And then let's do 3 more minutes on the blender. Right, so starting now. Okay, I stopped it after 2 minutes. I stopped it after 2 minutes because you notice that there's some fog building up on the sides here. So the insides, the butter itself is getting really hot. I can still hold my hand in front of this. I can still put my hands on it, but it's a lot hotter now, and it's getting hot enough that the inside is starting to fog up. So the butter itself is getting hot. The machine, not so much. There isn't much of a difference between now and the other time I did with it. But that's 2 minutes. I'm going to do a little bit of scraping and then do 1 final minute. Ooh, poking in the eye with the 3D. Alright, so that's what it looks like. That's the creamery butter. Let's see, it's pretty liquefied. Blades are super clean for so much work. Yeah. So that's definitely some creamy butter. You can see it's got some oils in it. So I got a couple of these basting brushes to brush off the blades. Woohoo! That blade has definitely got some stuff on it. Brush that off. And there you go. There it is. Coming out like that. That's some creamery butter. Good looking stuff. Now, for experiment number 2. Part 2 of the experiment is to see if we can actually make almond milk from the almond butter that we just made. So instead of wasting all the extra bits that you strain out all the time, I just ground everything up and see if I can use it in here. And you can see this is still kind of a mess inside. So I'm going to dump some water in there. I know I have to dump at least, so this is 2 cups. I'm pouring it directly on the bladed area where the blade has to go because, well, I really don't want to have to bother cleaning that right now. I can brush this off a little bit. Again, this is all about stopping the waste. So I don't want to just wash out this cup and throw out all this extra good almond butter that I made because almonds are fairly expensive. So this is an attempt to balance that out. So that was 2 cups. Let's start with 3 cups, shall we? Spatula works pretty well. There we go. So definitely the way to go is the spatula. Spatula's like a squeegee on a car's windshield. Just kind of gets rid of all that extra almond butter that's on the walls here and puts it into the water. Now I am going to make a scoop, nice scoop of drip. One scoop of almond butter in there. And I'm going to lick this spoon. That's some delicious stuff. I had 2 dates and half of one fell on the floor, so I'll be doing 1.5 dates into the mixture. I will do the vanilla stuff that is always recommended. So I'm going to throw in half a teaspoon. Teaspoon. Click. Alright, pull this back out. Lock this back in. Click. Alright. Get the power on in the back. Click. And power on in the front. Click. And now we're going to see if we can make some good old almond milk with almond butter. Let's do blend. Okay, so I let that run for just over a minute, and now I will see what I got. Okay. Looks really good. There is a slight difference between this and the regular almond milk that I've made before that you'll notice. There is a separation here. You can see there's a foam layer, and then there's the regular layer down there at the bottom. That is a little different, but I guess if I mix it up, it shouldn't be a problem. Give me something other than just the foam. Alright. Nice cup of this stuff here. Wow, there's no real graininess at all to this. It's actually very, very tasty. There you go. You got almond butter, can be made without any waste at all. So you're using the entire almond. And then you have your almond milk here, straight from the almond butter. So no shells remaining, nothing remaining. You got perfect. So I don't have to freeze any of that almond mash or throw it out because no one's using it to make cookies or crackers or whatever. I don't have to go through a baking process to put it into the little oven and dry out all those things because they're already dry when I put them in here. So there's a good step for you guys. Start with the almond butter, then go almond milk. And it only takes 2 tablespoons of this to make all that. So 2 tablespoons, and I put in, what, 3 cups? So here's my little measuring cup here. This is 2 cups there. So I did 1.5 of these things, so that's 3 cups. So I did 3 cups of water and 2 tablespoons of almond butter. And it's actually pretty damn tasty.